Howdy folks, I'm Lively Long Dash, laughably leaping over lazy llamas.
I'm Amber.
And here are more lazy llamas for us to leap over. Much like our moniker, we are great at leaping over things. I guess that's where we're going with this. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Spending Money Saved for an Engagement Ring on a Tattoo? A bit more than a month ago, my now ex broke up with me out of the blue. I don't want to go into the details of the relationship or the breakup, but we had been talking about marriage before the breakup. We had settled on wedding bands and an engagement ring. I am by no means well off and arguably live paycheck to paycheck, but I managed to always pay my bills, save money, and budget money for fun, concerts, fancy dinners, trips to Renaissance fairs, conventions, rallies, random events, etc. While still doing all this, I managed to put aside several $1,000s for the engagement ring that she wanted. After the breakup, I decided to spend that money on myself. I bought myself my favorite bourbon, a case of my favorite cigars, and finally finished a large tattoo sleeve that I've been working on for 2 years. The issue came when I started casually seeing a young woman, we'll call her Dee. I knew Dee before I met my ex, but we were much more of acquaintances than anything else just due to life stuff, and honestly because I only had eyes for my now ex from the moment that I first met her. But we knew enough about each other that she was familiar with the fact that I'm not one just to casually throw money around. Since this money wasn't budgeted for anything, well, not since the breakup, and let's be honest, I'm heartbroken, and I've been a lot more willing to say, just go with it and spend the money. Well, tonight I met Dee for dinner and drinks, and during the drinks part of the evening, she noticed my fresh ink, and jokingly asked if I had gotten promoted or hit the lottery. When I explained to her where this money had come from, she got real serious and told me that spending it like that was disrespectful, that I had saved that money for something beautiful and I was wasting it, and it proves that I never cared about my ex. Dee ended up leaving me at the bar where I'm currently typing this up because she was upset with me. Maybe it's the fantastic cocktails blurring my judgment, but am I the jerk for spending the money? Alright folks, what do you think?
I mean, not the jerk. It's your money to spend, you're not getting married anymore, so it's not like you had to save this money forever and ever until a new engagement ring purchase time came.
Yeah, well, I think Dee may be looking too far into the future.
Yeah.
Maybe she's jealous because OP went and spent this money and she was like, well, this money would have gone to me if I got engaged to OP.
Yeah.
Right? And like that's such a far off distant thing that if that is where her mind is going, then I think that she needs to take a big step backwards.
Right. Like, it's one thing to be concerned about someone's financial habits because, you wonder how that would affect you. Because if you're together as a couple long term, but that doesn't seem to be her issue at all. If she'd been like, oh, wow, I didn't realize you were such a big spender. Like, are you sure this is wise? That might have been a little different than being like, this money was for a sacred purpose, or I don't remember her exact wording, but something like that.
Well, then also, I wonder if she saw OP spending this extra money and took a little bit more of an interest in OP because she's like, well, maybe he's got money now or something like that. And when she was disappointed that he's like just spending engagement ring money, she was like, I feel deceived or something like that. And so she just made something up on the spot,
Yeah, well, it's a very, very strange reaction, and I'm pretty sure she's not telling the truth here.
Yeah.
She's hiding her true motives.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And DG Shawgirl says, not the jerk, mate. The proper reply to her comment about wasting money meant for something beautiful should have been, you don't think that my ink makes me beautiful? Go buy a fruity cocktail that you would have gotten for D and then drink it yourself. So-called girly drinks taste amazing. I would recommend a fruit tingle if they have them. Turn your tongue purple and have fun. And OP replies, great minds think alike. I'm at a cocktail bar, and the bartender has been supplying me with a fantastic selection of girly drinks. I'm not sure what I'm currently drinking is called, but it's bright blue and amazing. It's blue. And Southern Radio 6539 says, will you ever entertain the idea of your ex and you getting back together? And OP replies, no, whatever trust there was is shattered, and I can't be in a relationship with someone I can't trust. I'm sure after some time I'll get over the breakup and forgive her, but you can never truly rebuild trust like that. And Cute Ice 9480 says, tattoos should be earned and not used to increase personal image and appearance. Too many people get sleeves and act completely out of context. It's just a sleeve of ink. It doesn't make you an MMA fighter or an ex-con, lol. And OP replies, I would agree with that, but I'm already covered in tattoos, haha. I've been saving that arm, slowly getting work done for the sleeve. Really, I just decided to get the rest of the sleeve done all at once instead of continuing to piece it out any longer.
I mean, I think that's a very strange take. Like, yeah, obviously it doesn't make you someone different, but anyone can have tattoos these days. Anyone can have full sleeves.
Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my fiance that I'll leave him if he keeps using our money to support his homeless mother, who hid her foreclosure from us for years? The whole situation is a mess, and I don't know if I'm being heartless or just finally setting boundaries. My mother-in-law lost her house due to foreclosure. The twist, she never told us. For years, my fiance and I absolutely would have helped her had we known. We're not rich by any means, but we would have done whatever we could have to make sure that she would have been able to stay in her house, especially because she lives with her severely disabled husband, my fiance's father, and her disabled adult daughter. Now they're all homeless and we're left scrambling. When everything came to light and that they had gotten evicted, I immediately got them an extended stay hotel and paid for a week in advance. While talking to my fiance about how they were going to pay to live in a hotel, I was told that their disability checks could be used for housing. But apparently my fiance kept paying for their hotel and their storage unit, all using our joint bank account without telling me. I didn't notice right away because I have a business that I'm trying to grow and I'm busy taking care of our child. Well, yesterday I looked at our finances and I saw that over $11,000 was used for all of their stuff and I completely lost it. I drove to the hotel and I told everyone that no more of our money would be used for them. I told my fiance that if one more cent of our money was used, that I will break off the engagement and leave. It's not that I don't care about them, I do, but I feel betrayed that she hid the foreclosure from us, let the situation spiral into homelessness, and then used me as a personal piggy bank. This money that we have is to go into our new house that we're supposed to be buying and also my daughter's school. I also feel disrespected that my fiance went behind my back and used our money without asking. Now, the morning after, I'm starting to feel guilty, like it's my fault that they're going to be on the streets. Also, I feel it's important to add that we have never had a good relationship with his side of the family. We have been together for 13 years, so this isn't a new relationship. His mother has never really wanted anything to do with our daughter, except for maybe 3 holidays a year that we go to her. Am I the jerk for telling them that I will no longer help them financially? Added to add, they had money. They won a large settlement, a few million, and she blew it all. All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. What the fiance was doing was unconscionable. Like, this was joint funds that they had already allocated for different reasons, and he stole 11 grand from that. Like, I would seriously rethink about ever marrying this person at this point in time, because if he has no trouble, like, first of all, what's to stop him from going behind your back and doing this again? But secondly, like, even if he doesn't, there's always going to be that concern in your mind. You're going to have to be like constantly checking the bank account to see what, like, whether he's buying stuff for his family. And he's probably going to, like, maybe not outright the way he is now, but he's going to find ways to slip the money.
Where I have a problem with this whole story is the fact that she somehow, in a few years, burnt through a few $1,000,000, right? And I think now what we're seeing is that she is going to drag them down as well, right?
Yep.
Like, we're seeing the start of that. She and the rest of them do not know how to budget their money in a way that is sensible. If you can burn through millions of dollars worth of settlement money, and then you can't be trusted with money at a certain point, right?
Yeah.
Like, $11,000 in a few months is a lot of money to go through, and it sounds like OP, I think that OP might have been better with the situation had they sat down and talked with it and outlined exactly how much money they needed and how much money they wanted to allocate to it.
Well,
But he went behind their back and actually stole the money and gave it straight to them without even any kind of conversation, right?
Right. So it sounds like OP was assured that the disability money was going to be used to pay for the hotel stay.
Yeah.
So she was under the impression that they were no longer financing them. And, I think, getting them the hotel initially was a perfectly fine thing.
Yeah.
And it looked like everything was squared away. And you should be able to trust your partner not to steal from your joint funds.
Yeah. So what I'm kind of curious about is now if she has like huge bills or something like that they need to pay off, like credit card debt or any of these other things, maybe they need to go and declare bankruptcy. I mean, that might be what needs to happen from here, because AOP can't be, spending millions of dollars to bail these people out. I mean, certainly like having, helping out family is important, but there's a certain limit where that becomes where you can't float them and you'll sink yourself, right?
Right. And, again, like it seems like mother-in-law cannot manage money whatsoever. And if she's not willing to like have that money put into like have someone else manage the money for her, then like it's all her own doing at a certain point.
Yeah. So I think that if OP wants to continue helping them, and this isn't a relationship ending event, then they need to sit down and help them work out a budget, help them work out exactly how to live off of what they're currently getting in disability. Like I am sympathetic. Being on a restricted budget is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that it's easy, and living out of a hotel can't be easy. But at a certain point, like they made a lot of mistakes to get to the place that they did, and like OP is saying, that they would have been more than willing to help them, but they didn't even give them that ability.
Right. Well, it seems like mother-in-law just kept spending like nothing was going on and burned through all the money and then some. And like you've got to reach out before you get to the point where it's all gone.
Yeah. So it's a really sad situation. I feel a lot of sympathy for the people who are, suffering in this situation.
Right. I feel bad for like the dad and sister, because it seems like they didn't have any real say in it, that mother-in-law was the one doing the household finances. And so if they had no say in what's happening and were kept in the dark, that's a really terrible situation. But mother-in-law, like, I understand it's hard to reach out for help, but you got to do that. You can't just like keep burning through money like it's water.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Freaks1975 says, need to know more about your financial situation. Are you the only one with an income? Not the jerk. Does he have income of his own next to your joint account, which he can use? Not the jerk. He has an income, but you only have a joint account. Then that depends on how much he makes. If he only spends his part of the money, then you're the jerk.
I mean, I want to push back on that a little bit, because first of all, I'm sure they have joint like expenditures. So like he can't skip paying for like the mortgage or the food or whatever just because it's his personal money.
Yeah, I mean, certainly like at a certain point there needs to be divisions like free spending and stuff like that, and keeping track of that stuff in order to, make sure that even if you have a joint account, that everyone knows how much money they have to spend, right?
Right. And like it's a lot of money, like $11,000 in a few months is a lot of money to blow through without consulting your partner. Even if it's coming out of fund money, like that would be a concerning level.
And OP replies, we both have jobs. I own a company and he works for someone. We have a joint account to pay our daughter's school and happened to put money in it when we sold our house, which I know was a mistake. And I was in the process of trying to figure out a better place, like a high yield savings or such. So he's literally taking money that they have from selling a house that they would be using to buy another house. That's a bad situation.
Yeah, so like that's just going to sink them. They're not going to be able to find a new house if that's what they're looking for.
And Braddy Sweet says, a few million blew it all. How? And OP replies, I think the settlement was in 2008, and she put down $200,000 on a small mansion and drove 3 brand new Lexuses off the showroom floor, right when she got the money. So right off the bat, not off to a good start. So like $200,000 on a house is probably reasonable, right?
It sounds like that was the down payment.
It's probably the down payment? Ooh. Yeah, I mean, if that was only the down payment, not like a actual like.
It
right.
was the whole house, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But...
No, I guess like putting $200,000 down on a house would make sense if that was the down payment, not the whole house. I was like, $200,000 for a small mansion. I mean, 2008 money? I guess it depends on where you live. Was not thinking. Yeah, uh, not a good situation. I mean, the thing is that this is why lottery winners go bankrupt after winning the lottery, is because you feel like you have a lot more money than you do.
Mm-hmm.
And for most people, it's very wise for them to go to a financial advisor to sit
Mm-hmm.
down and work out a budget. And people aren't very good at limiting themselves and having a budget. And
Right, because people are like, oh, I have all this money, I can do all these things I never did before. But if you're not watching it very carefully, it goes very quickly.
yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for threatening to cancel my wedding that my dad is paying for if he invites his brother? My fiance and I are getting married in May and decided that we don't want to have a traditional large wedding. And we have always wanted to get married at a courthouse. The big reason for this is because we don't want to have to deal with the drama that comes along with not inviting people who think that they are entitled to be invited, specifically my uncle and his wife. My parents were very upset about the courthouse idea because they wanted more of a celebration. So we compromised and rented a big vacation house to get married at. It wasn't exactly what we wanted, but we were still happy to do it this way. My parents paid for the house. We invited about 10 people, including 2 couples that my parents are friends with. But now my dad is insisting that we invite his brother. I have always felt very strongly about not inviting my dad's brother and his wife to our wedding, no matter how small the ceremony is. They are extremely entitled people, have spread many false rumors about my family, talk trash about us behind our backs, all while trying to maintain the guise of being one big, perfectly loving family. Put simply, I don't care how closely related I am to them. I do not have any sort of affection for them, and I certainly don't trust them. Now my dad is using the fact that he is paying for everything as a way to control his brother getting invited. He says that it's also a celebration for him too, so he wants his brother there, even though he will have other friends and family there. I say that it's my wedding day and I don't want to spend it with someone who just treated us like we're beneath him for his whole life. My fiance and I have already compromised for my parents by getting married at this house in the first place. We don't need to make any more compromises for them. My dad is not budging and is accusing me of being selfish and petty. So now my fiance and I are strongly considering canceling it all and going back to the original courthouse plans. Seeing us get married is a privilege, not a right. So am I the jerk here? Does my father actually get more say since he is the one paying for everything? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. Your father is being selfish and controlling. He's trying to use money to leverage this and be like, well, it's my money. You don't care about getting married at this mansion. Just tell him, if you're going to be this way, we're doing a courthouse wedding, and that is the end of it. No arguments.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's really what OP needs to do, is tell them right up front that if you want to, it doesn't matter, this is what you wanted, we're doing you a favor by having this non-courthouse wedding. So you get to make a decision right now. Do you want to see us get married, or do you want your brother there? Plain and simple.
And let him know very clearly that if you show up there and his brother is there, you're walking right out and going straight to the courthouse.
Yeah. So I think that this is not a unreasonable request from OP. They should not have to spend a day on their wedding, especially with someone who they don't like and don't want to be around.
And I have a feeling this is just the dad trying to show off to his brother, and so, like, he can have his show off time. This is not his moment. He's like, but this is about me too. No, what that means is that it's about the family coming together to celebrate the couple, not about showing off to your brother.
Yeah. I mean, if he wants to have a big special occasion with his brother there, then do a vow renewal with your wife and go and have a big fancy ceremony for that. I don't care. I don't care, right? Like that, at that point in time, you can do whatever you want with your own little celebration. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why did the spider want a computer?
And Spider wanted a computer so it could surf the web.
Yeah, so they could get on the web.
Yeah, so they could go on websites.
And it's the National Pet Day today.
So go find yourself a pet spider to crawl the web with. Yeah, that's that. That's it. That's it. No, nothing other crazy or ridiculous than that. Just find a pet spider, surf the web, and you'll be off to a great day. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Fantastic Friday, folks. I hope your Friday is off to a fantastic start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. Please have it on poor money decisions.
To spare yourself from making poor money decisions, if you come into a large sum of money, find a trusty financial advisor to help you budget it. Make sure they're legit, like not just some person on the internet who says they can help you.
Like me. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
I am not a paid fiduciary. I have no financial... I can't actually provide you legal advice on your finances.
Yeah.
My lawyer has advised me to say that. I don't really have a lawyer.